Our book for this quarter is going to be Island of the Blue Dolphins. And since this book takes place on an island outside, I thought it would be fun to videotape the introduction outside with you. I would like to go through and read this as it sets the scene. This is based on a true story, and the account I'm going to read tells of when someone had actually found this woman who had been living on an island for almost 20 years by herself. So let me go ahead and read that to give you some introduction to what we are going to be learning. Entry 1183, recorded by Father Gonzalez Rubio in the Santa Barbara Mission, Book of Burials reads, on October 19, 1853, I gave ecclesiastical burial in the cemetery to the remains of Juana Maria, the Indian woman brought from San Nicolas Island, and since there was no one who could understand her language, she was baptized conditionally by Francis Sanchez. Thus she became known to history as Juana Maria. It has never been her name. Sometimes, too, she is called the Lone Woman of San Nicolas, but most often she is remembered now as Corana, the name that Scott Odell gave to her when he wrote her story. Sadly, she was never able to tell that story herself, for her language was one that no one could comprehend. So the details were pieced together, guessed at, fabricated, romanticized at times, embroidered in the retellings. What is known as this: for thousands of years, the Nicoleno tribe had lived peacefully on a tiny 3 by 9 mile island about 75 miles off the coast of Southern California. In 1811, a Russian-American trading company, led by an American captain, hired a group of Alaskan Alouettes and deposited them on the island of San Nicolas to hunt sea otters, whose pelts were highly prized. When the natives, Nicolenos, objected, they were massacred. Some accounts say that the Alouettes then left the island. Others speculate that they were killed by the women whose husbands they had slaughtered. By 1835, there were very few of the original natives left on San Nicolas, and those who remained, it is generally agreed, were all but one female. The woman, who was later to be baptized on her deathbed with the name Juana Maria, would have been one of these. The Santa Barbara Mission sponsored a rescue operation and sent a schooner and its crew to collect the few remaining Nicolenos for their own safety. They grouped the small band of natives on the beach and then took them aboard the ship. But they left one woman behind. The version of why this happens vary. The simplest, a storm was coming, they had to hurry, and one woman didn't make it to the beach in time. A little embellishment, the woman was with the group on the beach but ran off to find her missing child, and the crew, with a strong storm beginning, couldn't wait. The most romantic account? She was already on the ship when she realized her child was not among them, and she dived overboard and swam back. Whatever the circumstances, this was the moment when an unnamed woman became the Lone Woman of San Nicolas. She remained on the island for 18 years. If indeed she had a child, it did not survive. Records show that when she was found in 1853 by fur trapper George Nidever, she was dressed in a skirt made of green cormorant feathers. Nidever described her as about 50. Other accounts say she was maybe in her 30s. All of them describe her as smiling. A Sacramento newspaper reported, the wild woman who was found on the island of San Nicolas, about 70 miles from the coast west of Santa Barbara, is now at the latter place and is looking upon as a curiosity. It is stated she has been some 18 to 20 years alone on the island. She existed on shellfish and the fat of the seal, and dressed in the skins and feathers of wild ducks, which she sewed together with sinews of the seal. She cannot speak any known language, is good looking and about middle age. She seems to be contented in her new home among the good people of Santa Barbara. And that is all we will ever know. In the short time remaining to her, she died 7 weeks later, no linguist could identify her language or translate the words of the 2 songs she sang for them. So based on a true story, we're going to read this and find out who was this woman, what happened to her tribe, how did she get left on the island, and then how did she deal with all those years by herself. So we'll read of these adventures and experiences that she had. All right, well, I look forward to sharing this book with you.